Yes, please, please.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Border Tourism Webinar Series, wherein we are highlighting the potential of tourism in border districts of India. And in today's deliberation, the focus state is Bihar. And as we know that Bihar has wide range of tourism attractions in the form of religious circuits, heritage circuits, eco circuits, and there are large number of historic monuments, even temples, a forest. We have the Nalanda and Mahabodhi, which are the two World Heritage sites, and also scenic beauty, which actually provide immense scope for tourists to explore and rejuvenate. It is indeed a land of monasteries. We have the Hindu, Buddhist, Jain, Muslim, and Sikh shrines all around in this ancient land where India's first major empires they all rose and fell. And as we know that India is the largest country in South Asia with varied topography. We have 18 Indian states and union territories. They share their border with 7 neighboring countries. And all these border destinations of India, they are very rich in tourism potential, which are famous for many historical monuments, mountain peaks, scenic beauty, wildlife, and local culture. However, it has been felt that in spite of having some tourism potential, these areas are also economically backward. The living standard of the local inhabitants and the communities is low, and employment opportunities are also quite scanty. This means that the tourism is not developed systematically in these destinations. Therefore, there's a huge need to promote tourism education among the locals and also to develop the tourism infrastructure in the respective border areas of India. In fact, in today's program, we are focusing on Sitamarhi district, which is one of the district under the aspirational district programs, which focuses on 112 of the India's most developmentally challenged districts, which is an attempt to push for substantial growth across various socio-economic parameters. So in order to discuss the nuances that how we can actually improve the tourism potential in the border areas, today as we are discussing the aspirational district Sitamarhi, PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry has curated this webinar to examine the tourism potential and also to present suggestions towards development of tourism in the border destination. So without any further ado, I'll request our Senior Vice President, Mr. Pradeep Multani, to kindly start the proceedings with his welcome remarks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jitendra. Good afternoon. It is a privilege to welcome you all to the 7th edition of Border Tourism Webinar Series with Focus State Bihar. I'm really honored to extend a warm welcome to our esteemed speakers. We have with us today Mr. Pushkar, representing Mr. Prabhakar, IAS Director, Tourism Department, Government of Bihar, Mr. Taranjot Singh, IAS Deputy Development Commissioner, Sitamarhi District, Government of Bihar, Mr. Rama Kamaraju, Senior Consultant, Niti Aayog, Mr. Lajpat Rai, Chairman and Managing Director, Lotus Trans Travel, Mr. Manveer Singh Thakur, General Manager, Oaks, Bodh Gaya, Mr. Sanjay Sharma, Founder President, Tourism Association of Bihar, Mr. Anil Parashar, Chairman, Tourism Committee, PHDCCI, Mr. Satyajit Kumar Singh, Chairman, Bihar Chapter, PHDCCI, Mr. Rajan Sehgal, Co-Chairman, Tourism Committee, PHDCCI. It is a pleasure to have such a strong panel who are all experts in their areas, and we look forward to hear their expert views and learn from their experiences. I will begin with a brief introduction of PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Established in 1905, PHDCCI has a legacy of 116 years, reaching out to 150,000 industries and businesses from across the nation. PHDCCI has created a niche for itself across the country through the excellent work done by expert committees, state chapters, international affairs committees, and foundations on various subjects of importance. PHDCCI is an apex national chamber with unique distinction, representing more than 200 regional chambers of commerce and trade associations, and as I mentioned, reaching out to over 150,000 large, medium, and small-scale cross-sectoral companies serving the nation. The concept of border tourism refers to the notion of visiting border areas in order to experience diverse cultures, acquiring knowledge for trade, or even meeting local communities who are living in the border regions. Improving socio-economic status of border districts, especially aspirational districts, are one of the priorities of the Government of India. These districts, often rich in recreational, cultural, and natural resources, provide great potential for the development of border tourism. Direct interventions from the Niti Aayog, Ministry of Tourism, and the State Tourism Board can influence the perception of tourists and contribute to the realization of the full potential of that area. The focus state for today, Bihar, has wide range of tourism attractions in the form of religious circuits, heritage circuits, eco circuits, the large number of historic monuments, ruins, temples, forests, two World Heritage Sites, Nalanda and Mahabodhi, and scenic beauty provide immense scope for the tourists to explore and rejuvenate. The Department of Tourism, Government of Bihar, has to work diligently to achieve its rightful place on the world tourism map, which has not been utilized to the fullest so far. With this note, I would like to extend my warm greetings to those participating in today's webinar and wish it great success. Thank you, Jai Hind, and God bless everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for laying the foundation of this very important webinar. Now, with this, I would like to invite Mr. Anil Prashar, the Chairman of Tourism Committee at PHD Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Singh. Thank you. Mr. Pushkar Shirvastha, representing Mr. Prabhakar, IAS Director Tourism, Mr. Taranjot Singh, IAS Deputy Development Commissioner, Sitamarhi District Government of Bihar, Mr. Rama Kamaraju, Senior Consultant, Niti Aayog. So thank you very much for your support to the very important initiative. Mr. Manveer Singh Thakur, General Manager, Oaks, Bodh Gaya. Mr. Lajpat Rai, Chairman and Managing Director, Lotus Travel, Trans Travel. Mr. Sanjay Sharma, Founder President, Tourism Association of Bihar. Our dynamic Senior Vice President, Mr. Pradeep Multani. My colleagues, Mr. Satyajit Kumar Singh, Chairman, Bihar Chapter, PHDCCI. Mr. Rajan Sehgal, Co-Chairman, Tourism Committee, PHDCCI. Mr. Jitendra Singh, Dr. Jitendra Singh, our Director, and Ms. Sulagna Ghosh. Good afternoon to all of you. On behalf of PHDCCI, I'm pleased to welcome all the dignitaries to this unique webinar on border tourism with focus state, Bihar. With the support of the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, and respective state tourism boards, the Tourism Committee of PHDCCI has launched the Border Tourism webinar series in the month of June 2021. The series aims to examine the tourism potential in the border districts of India and moreover to present suggestion towards development of border tourism of India. 6 webinars have been organized till date focusing on Arunachal Pradesh, Rajasthan, Punjab, Meghalaya, Gujarat, and Nagaland, which had received an overwhelming response from the government officials as well as industry members. Bihar's antiquity is evident from its name, which is derived from the ancient word Vihara, which is monastery. It is versatile destination which meets expectations of varied interests, be it religious, arts, and culture, heritage, and even ecological. It is the land of Lord Buddha, who attained his enlightenment and proceeded for final nirvana from here. Among all other Indian states, Bihar is most intimately linked to the life of Buddha, resulting in a trail of pilgrimages which have been known as the Buddhist circuit. 10th Guru of Sikh faith, Shri Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj was born here and spent his childhood. Ma Sita was born here in Sitamarhi, and her childhood was spent in Mithila region of Bihar. 24th Tirthankar of Jain faith, Mahavir Swami, took birth here in Bihar and has been his Karan Bhumi. The landlocked state of Bihar is surrounded by Nepal, West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, Jharkhand, and has immense immense potential for tourism. PHDCCI is committed to create such meaningful platforms to do its bit in enabling all its parameters of the tourism industry to grow and flourish further. With this, I hand you back to Dr. Singh, and thank you very much and have a great afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Neil, sir, for your remarks. Thank you for also highlighting some of the most important tourist destinations in Bihar. Thank you very much. Now with this, I'd like to invite Mr. Satyajit Kumar Singh. Mr. Satyajit is the chairman of Bihar chapter at PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Over to you, sir. सत्यजीत सर, ओवर टू यू. आप म्यूट पर हैं. I think okay. I'll just call him until he joins. In fact, okay. Mr. Satyajit Kumar Singh, sir, are you able to listen us?
I think he's having some issue.
Maybe, sir. I'll just call him. And meanwhile, in fact, PhD Chamber has made a small presentation in terms of exploring the tourism potential in border districts, wherein, as we all know, that Bihar is one of the most important states as far as tourism is concerned, and how we can actually explore this opportunity and how we can actually unleash the tourism potential. There's a small presentation. So meanwhile, Mr. Satyajit Kumar Singh joins. It's a small presentation. As we know that Bihar, it shares borders with Nepal, and among borders, 7 border districts, we have 2 aspirational districts, which is Sitamarhi and Araria. And as we know that Government of India is highly focused on actually improving the socio-economic status of aspirational districts. And today our focus is on the Sitamarhi district, which is again a very, very important historical place. And as everybody is aware that the district of Sitamarhi was carved out of the Muzaffarpur district on 11th December 1972. And it is situated in the northern part of Bihar and is bordered by the Nepal. Headquarters is located at Dumra, which is 5 kilometers south of Sitamarhi. So you can see the map also. And some of the important tourist places, as already being told by Mr. Anil Prashar also, some of the important is like Punara Dham. We have the Janki temple, which is the birthplace of Sita Mata. This shrine is thronged by devotees in thousands during Navratri and also during Ram Navami festivals. We have Baghai Dham, we have Baba Nageshwar Nath Mandir, then we have the Haleshwar Asthan and the Goral Sharif. So these are the important historical places which are visited by many tourists in thousands every year. Now the point is like, the most important point is like, what are the challenges? Because the thing is, since it is one of the most important tourism places in Bihar, still we feel that it is coming under the aspirational district program because of certain issues, some of the challenges which need to be surmounted by the collective consensus and by the collective wisdom of all the think tanks. So some of the challenges we found is that there are some gaps in knowledge and also information about how this border area can become a tourist destination. Second point is we also feel that there is some shortage in expertise, also some existing networks that need to be strengthened, and also more experience is required in collaborating on tourism between stakeholders in border areas. So the important actors of any border area are the paramilitary forces, then most important is the district administration, and the most important one is the local community support. There are also some gaps in accessibility, gaps in transport infrastructure, and also economic infrastructure that is required by tourists. And also in terms of expertise and knowledge that is required to supply quality products and services in tourism in border areas. And as we know that the disposable income of our middle age has increased and people are demanding services even at premium prices also. So that is somewhat a missing link in terms of providing the quality products and services to the tourists in some of these areas. So the way forward, what we feel is that we need to have more interconnections between the Ministry of Tourism, between the state tourism development boards, and also community participation along with industry participation, which is very, very strategic. And as border tourism, it entails very strategic planning because of multiplicity of factors who are involved in planning and strategy formulation. We need to have a clear defined tourism development vision and also the key priorities areas, some of the low hanging fruits that can be started with immediately with a clear action plan. And also we need to ensure that there is a common strategic planning. It is necessary to ensure the participation of local population in the entire process. So since one of the important programs of the aspirational district program is to actually connect or go to the last mile, customer or consumer or to the person. So in that entire process, the role of local population is very, very immense. So in fact, now since we have all the domain experts who will be dwelling on these important areas, I'm sure that by the end of the webinar, we will be coming out with some of the important strategic points which can be given to presently to Ministry of Tourism as well as State Tourism Development Board and also the local district. Chamber had a calendar for the all 18 states which come under border areas, and today we are at number 7. We are shortlisted district is Sitamarhi, which is one of the aspirational districts in Bihar. And then there are certain 6 programs as already been told by our chair already. They have been done. Today is the 7th in addition, and we are covering entire 18 states by 25th February 2022. So this is one of the interventions wherein we actually want to improve the tourism potential in all these border states and the districts that actually come under the aspirational district programs. So thank you very much. Now I'd like to invite Mr. Satyajit Kumar Singh. Satyajit sir, are you there? Are you able to hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah. First of all, warm welcome to all dignitaries participant in Border Tourism Cooperation. It is very important as far as Bihar is concerned. Your intervention is very welcome step because it will bring, it is very critical for the Bihar economy as well as for the tourism also. As you know that Bihar is famous for its religious and ecotourism. So these two things are our core strength. And while you have selected the Sitamarhi is going to be the route for Ajodhya network also. So Government of India has linked the Sitamarhi for its Ajodhya link also. So my few suggestion is that the PhD chamber should create a task force with the government of Bihar so that a detailed project can be worked out how to scale the tourism activity in Sitamarhi, because identification of Sitamarhi is one step and the tourism related infrastructure has to be created there. As far as I know, Sitamarhi is not very well connected as far as infrastructure is concerned. So we have to do some work on that, and conducting tourism related festival is also important in those districts while connecting the tourists with them. Integration of local population and develop the safety and security measures is one of the very critical area, because whenever is there a place like Sitamarhi, which is a distant place, one has to take care of all these things. And above all, I will again repeat and suggest that PhD chamber should create a task force with the government of Bihar Tourism Department so that a detailed project can be worked out and so that we can follow that. Lastly, I congratulate the PhD Chamber Committee, Tourism Committee for this conference, and I hope this will bring some positive result in the development of tourism sector in Bihar. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your very important comments. And as you rightly said that we need to walk the talk, and for this some credible action has to be done. And first of the steps can be actually creation of this task force. Thank you for giving your suggestion. We definitely will come to you in terms of how to actually institutionalize this particular program. We will definitely have a consensus on this. Thank you very much, sir. Now with this, I'd like to invite Mr. Taranjot Singh, IAS. Mr. Taranjot Singh is the Deputy Development Commissioner in Sitamarhi District, Government of Bihar. Over to you, Mr. Singh.
Good afternoon. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Good afternoon to one and all. I am Taranjot Singh. I am IAS officer of 2017 batch and posted in Sitamarhi as DDC since last 1 year. Sitamarhi, as has been mentioned in the presentation, Sitamarhi is a district in North Bihar bordering Nepal. It is about 130 kilometers from Patna, which takes about 3-hour journey, and the nearest airport is Darbhanga airport, which is about 2 hours and which is 80 kilometers away from Sitamarhi. Since we are today speaking about the potential of Sitamarhi from tourism point of view, as it has been mentioned that it is integral part of Ramayana circuit, along with the other districts like Darbhanga and Buxar, which also form part of Ramayana circuit. Sitamarhi is one of the most significant places. In fact, as the name suggests, as per the ancient mythology, it is here that Mata Sita took birth. The story that goes that we all know that goes like that Raja Janak जब हल चला रहे थे तो उनको खेत में जो एक घड़ा मिला जिसमें सीता माता का जन्म हुआ. So it is this place, and there are a number of historically important places like Janki Sthan, which is considered as the birthplace of Sita Mata, which was discovered about 400 years ago, and Punora Dham, which again is associated with the birth of Sita Mata, and which is also associated with Pundarik Rishi, so it's also called Pundarik Ashram. Apart from the birth event of Sita Mata, there's another place in Sitamarhi called Panth Pakar. Now, Panth Pakar is about 10 kilometers from city headquarters, and the story about this place is that when Sita Mata got married and started her journey from Janakpur to Ayodhya, it was here that she stopped for a brief while. Unki palki, the palanquin, stopped here under the shade of a tree, Pakar tree, and that tree is still, it's said that it still has its presence at the place, and there's a pond which is called Sita Kund along with that place. So this is also an important place in Sitamarhi related to the life events of Sita Mata. So along with Janki Sthan, Punora Dham and Panth Pakar, there's another important place which is Haleshwar Sthan. Haleshwar Sthan has, as the story goes, that there was huge drought, and in order to elevate the region from the drought, Raja Janak took a yagya, Haleshthi yagya in reverence to Shivji. So that led to the establishment of Haleshwar Sthan Mandir, which again is an important religious tourist place in Sitamarhi. Now, Sitamarhi, when we talk about religious tourism in Sitamarhi, one of the integral parts of it is Janakpur in Nepal as well, because both the places are very interlinked, and all the tourists who come to Janakpur generally visit Sitamarhi and vice versa. Those who come to Sitamarhi tend to visit Janakpur as well. Janakpur is about 60 kilometers, which is 2 hours away from the Sitamarhi headquarters. Now I'm mentioning Janakpur also because Sitamarhi has a potential to develop as tourism, and a lot of service sector has a lot of opportunity for serving the tourists who are visiting Janakpur, as well as for the development of all the places that I have mentioned in Sitamarhi as well. Now, a lot of work has been done, and a lot of further scope is there for improvement of tourism potential. For example, in 2015, number of proposals from district administration were sent to the Department of Tourism, Government of Bihar, for development of guest houses and meeting halls and other such basic infrastructure and facilities at places like Punora Dham, out of which number of projects have been executed. Last year, before second COVID wave, I had visited the Punora Dham, and guest house, 50-bedded guest house has been has been almost completed there, and because of COVID, the handover has not been done, but soon it will be done by the department. Similarly, other infrastructure is also coming up. Basic facilities like facilities to set up shops for local people, local economy to thrive around it. They are coming up. But again, there is further scope for improvement. Similarly, in terms of connectivity, a lot of improvement has taken place in last decade in terms of connectivity, and Sitamarhi, which used to be affected, connectivity used to be affected by flood. Maybe 10 years ago, it is now, it has a decent connectivity with all the major cities in Bihar, and NH 227, if I'm not wrong, it connects Sitamarhi to the last border point of India, which is Bhitta Mode, which goes further up to Janakpur on the Nepal side, and on the other side, it goes up in various cities of UP up to Ayodhya, NH 227 is. So in those terms, also the connectivity is quite good. I think the spending 1 year in Sitamarhi, what I have felt is that we need to work towards making towards projecting Sitamarhi at national level for its tourism potential and for its religious significance, which can significantly increase the number of footfalls that we have around the year. Since last one and a half year, the tourist industry has been affected by COVID, but I did some local research and found out that about 8 to 10,000 tourists visited annually. More significant chunk of it visited during November to February, when the weather is pleasant. And I think if we work upon, if all the stakeholders involved work upon improving the basic facilities, and in a way, if we are able to offer that complete tourist package to those who want to undertake tourism, then I think there's significant potential to improve number of tourist footfalls in the district. And it will not only project Sitamarhi on the tourist map, but also help the local population, local people in uplifting their socioeconomic status and in providing them good livelihood. In fact, district administration does keep making an effort in this regard. And last year, we had sent a proposal to Ministry of Textiles, Government of India, for training local people in various handicrafts like terracotta making, Sikki art, applique art, and we were thinking of integrating it with marketing it at all the major tourist places where tourists visit, so that they visit the place and they also take back souvenirs of which reminiscent them of the place they have visited. So there are Sikki art, applique art, and terracotta art, which are local handicrafts in the Mithila region, and the district administration has been trying to develop and interlink it with the tourist potential of the district. In terms of what can be done further in the years to come, one is definitely we have made improvements in the infrastructure, and a lot more needs to be done to provide basic facilities and basic tourist facilities to the tourists. Second is that, as I mentioned, that whenever a tourist visits any place, even if it is a religious tourist, tourists have certain aspirations and they look for a kind of a complete tourist package kind of thing, where they not only visit the religious place. To quote an example, in Amritsar, there is not only religious significance of Amritsar itself, but there are various other avenues like light and sound show, which which highlight the history of that place. So something similar can be done for district Sitamarhi as well, that a light and sound show or a theater event which highlights the history or mythology of the place and the life events of the persons associated. I think this is where the collaborative part of various stakeholders comes into picture, that there are certain things which can be done better by the private sector. There are certain things where cooperation can be provided by government sector. So these are the things which while preparing for this webinar, which I thought are significant and I should mention. And if all of us are able to work collaboratively in this direction, we'll definitely we can establish good tourist potential in the district of Sitamarhi. And I would especially like to thank PhD Chamber of Commerce. I think this webinar is hopefully the first step in that direction, so that we can project Sitamarhi in terms of tourism at the national and international tourist globe, and also improve the socioeconomic status of the people of Sitamarhi, and work towards the well-being of one and all. So that is what I have to say in this regard, and we'll be, I think, open to questions at the end of the entire discussion, and we can take the discussion further. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for giving your very, very important comments. And as you mentioned about the provision of actually creating marketing linkages for the handicrafts and terracotta, I think that is one of the important way forward that need to be looked at immediately. Thank you very much. And now with this, I'd like to invite our next speaker, Mr. Rama Kamaraju. Mr. Kamaraju is the senior consultant at Niti Aayog, and he is in charge of aspirational district programs. And as we know that this program actually focuses on 112 of the India's most developmentally challenged districts. And this is an attempt to push for substantial growth across various socioeconomic parameters in these areas. And this program, in fact, has made impact in a short period of time, and also it is garnering praise from various international and national agencies that focus on development. And as per the recent appraisal report of the UNDP, the aspirational district program has had a very positive impact on the districts where it was implemented. And as it is based on the 3 pillars of convergence, collaboration, and competition, this program has translated into a stellar development narrative, as well as a vibrant Jan Andolan engaging 27 states and 14% of India's population. So with this, I'll request our distinguished speaker, Mr. Rama Kamaraju, to share his thought process with the august audience. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Jitendra Singh, and very good afternoon to all my fellow panelists and other important dignitaries who are in this webinar series. So at the very outset, I would thank PHDCCI to has been taken up this series of webinars of the border districts in the country, and trying to explore the tourism opportunities and make them as a very good tourist destinations of the country. So coming straight to our Sitamarhi district, which is one of the aspirational districts in the country. However, I would like to make a disclaimer that aspirational districts by name, it doesn't mean that they are very backward districts or nothing can be done or made there. See, when we say a district as an aspirational district, we are talking in terms of say health, nutrition, basic infrastructure parameters only. Nothing beyond these parameters. However, if we look into the other aspects, especially the tourism aspects of these border districts, they are phenomenal, and this has already been made by Dr. Jitendra Singh in the beginning of the program itself, that barring some socio-economic indicators where
there was a requirement of improving the governance structures in these aspirational districts. Apart from this aspect, if we look in as a whole as a district from all other sectors of the economy, Sitamarhi district definitely stands beyond any other aspirational districts in terms of religious tourism. So therefore, Sitamarhi to us is like a Punya Bhumi or Yajna Bhumi because of the very reason as the Development Commissioner has brought it to our notice that it's the place of birth of Sita Mataji, and also it contains a very, very popular monastery of having around 108 rooms in that, you see. So that itself is a great asset, and the government of India has already made part of this Ramayana Yatra, which is going to begin from November 2021. Sitamarhi is one of the places which this entire circuit carries upon. Therefore, there is full potential, and there is also some good time of another 3 months leg room for us to make the make availability of various other amenities as pointed out by the Development Commissioner. We should care to we should have a work plan for November 2021, and we should work towards that. And similarly, the other most important point is that government of India, this government of Bihar is coming up with one thing called is planning to implement one Dhaba Policy, that is basically opening eateries and motels with entertainment zone for children and parking spaces for vehicles, among other amenities. So this particular policy of the state government should also be encouraged to get traction within the Sitamarhi district, so that the basic amenities which we are planning to get over there can be also addressed to. Similarly, under the railway station program, Sitamarhi has been selected as a station with international services. So this has to be pushed further, and it has to be ensured that this again will not derail the implementation dates, and the actual plan is implemented as on schedule, which will definitely augment and also provide the required ecosystem for development of religious tourism in the district of Sitamarhi. And there is also another thing which Honorable Prime Minister has said on the Independence Day speech, which Bihar's Culture Department, the director is also being represented here. But Bihar Cultural Department has launched the web portal, the Amrut Chotsav web portal, which is basically popularizing the heroes of our freedom struggle. And Sitamarhi happens to also represent many of those heroes of our freedom struggle. So from this aspect as well, we have to popularize, and PHDCCI collectively with the Department of Culture, which they have already come up with the website, the component of Sitamarhi and its freedom heroes should also be made part of it, so that it would definitely supplement the tourist and tourist visits to the place. And so these are some of the things. And I happen to also notice that Sitamarhi also has some good representation of tribal population. The good amount of tribes exist within the district. So either through PHDCCI or through the Development Commissioner himself with his efforts can reach out to TriFed, which is a subsidiary of our Ministry of Tribal Affairs, where the MD is doing a awesome job there. It's a path-breaking job, and they have one scheme called Vandhan Yojana, where the entire end-to-end products made by tribals. It's just not only Till now, what used to happen is that they used to make it and sell it there itself, and what they ultimately used to get is very less when compared with the margins what the other traders used to get. So now he has made this One-Dhan scheme basically makes the backward linkages and as well the forward linkages all within the tribe groups themselves. So for example, if you take honey bee or any of those products which they usually make, the production, the processing, the marketing, everything is carried out by that particular community itself. Therefore, there is a very good scope and development. There you will get trified support in terms of implementing that particular scheme there, as well as providing the necessary skill sets to all the tribal communities there, so that the end-to-end can be done there, and there is a excellent livelihood opportunities for them. And lastly, I would like to just have a touch point here and close my this thing that the development commissioner, as he is well versed with the aspirational districts program template for the last 1 year, he could also try to replicate the same with same template on in terms of how to improve the religious tourism. Obviously, he can identify 2-3 themes. He can identify some of the key performance indicators, and he can have his own small dashboard on his desktop, which he can delegate to further persons, and time to time, say from every month, he can have a small kind of ranking where he can see to himself which particular activity is progressing, which is not progressing, and thereby take a collective review and move forward. So with these kind of small suggestions from our side, I would like to once again thank you, the Deputy Commissioner, the Director who took out some time to be part of this web series, and also PHDCCI for inviting me to share my thoughts on this. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Kamaraju, for your comments and also highlighting the importance of giving special significance to tribal population also. In fact, we know that TriFight is doing marvelous job for improvising the entire tribal ecosystem and by creating many marketing linkages for the products. In fact, we have visited the exhibition also, the products which were made by the tribals, they were displayed in their office. In fact, their office they are our neighbors to PhD Chamber of Commerce Industry. Thank you, sir. Thank you for highlighting this very important aspect. Thank you very much, sir. And now I'll request my colleagues to kindly play the video on Incredible India, Bihar.
If you seek nirvana, it is here. If you seek wisdom, it is here. The path to peace, enlightenment sought and found. It's all here. The incredible Bodh Gaya, a new discovery every time you meet.
Thank you very much. And with this, now I'd like to invite Mr. Pushkar Shirvastha from Tourism Board, Government of Bihar. Over to you, Mr. Pushkar. Please unmute.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Good afternoon, all the dignitaries and speakers over there. First of all, I would like to extend my warm welcome as well as thanks to the PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry for inviting me and giving us an opportunity to, discuss Sitamarhi over this platform. As everybody was mentioning about the potential of this place, so of course we know that there are a lot of potentials in terms of tourism point of view to develop a lot of things. But here I would like to mention few things which we have been doing to promote this place. since now from last 2 years, we have been promoting Sitamarhi, not only Sitamarhi, in fact, all these districts, but since we are talking about Sitamarhi here, so I should mention that if you go to our social media platforms, digital marketing things, you can see that we have been promoting Sitamarhi as a religious tourism. And we were discussing about this Dhaba policy also, as Mr. Rama was mentioning about this. So yes, this is coming up with all the districts, for all the districts, and this is going to be the a very good concept for the connectivity. You know, when somebody is traveling from one district to another district, and while we are going to Sitamarhi, so we have been coming up with special policy where you will get a lot of good amenities over a dhaba, so that people can feel the the good factor about that particular place. And another thing is that we were discussing about heroes of Sitamarhi. So since we are all over India, we are promoting Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, and we as a Bihar tourism also participating in this Mahotsav, and we are trying to not only mention about our heroes, district wise also, state wise, city wise also, we are trying to promote our heroes there. So everybody has mentioned about the potential of this place, so here I have mentioned what we have been doing. Awareness is very much important. So not everyone knows about the Sitamarhi. See, everyone knows that Sitamarhi is a place of Mata, the birthplace of Mata Sita. Have that awareness among them. So, what is the platform which we are using in today's generation? That if I talk about in terms of branding and promotion, the social media is a very good platform to use. So, we as a Bihar tourism, we as a tourism industry would like to invite all the stakeholders to cooperate. And yes, we have been doing this, like in terms of infrastructure thing, government is already taking a lot of steps along with government of India. And we have been promoting majorly as of now the Janki temple, and the sir was mentioning about this Punora Dham, Pant Pakar, and this Kupri, and also the Haleshwar Sthan as a very eminent place. So my point is that yes, as a religious point of view, since it's a birthplace of Mata Sita, so we are somewhere connecting with the birthplace of Sri Ram. So the connectivity between Ayodhya and Sitamarhi, that somebody was mentioning, yet there should be some scaling of tourism infrastructure on connectivity point of view, so that this facility and this combination can be promoted together. So with this note, I would like to thanks again to all the members out here, and thank you very much for inviting me again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shirvastha, for highlighting the important areas of development from tourism potential in the Bihar state, and Sitamarhi is definitely on the top of the radar for the state tourism development board also. Thank you very much. And with this, now I would like to invite our next speaker, Mr. Lashwat Rai. Mr. Rai is the chairman and managing director of Lotus Trans Travel Private Limited. Over to you, Mr. Rai. Please unmute, sir.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My sincere compliments to PhD Chamber to organize such kind of a seminar web series, which nobody have thought till now. See, Bihar is a very potential tourist destination. I have been operating in Bihar since 1983. my primary business is I am doing inbound from Japan, and I used to bring minimum 5,000 Japanese tourists every year to Bodh Gaya, Rajgir and Nalanda. Though I have been to Sitamarhi only once, but I think as a Bihar whole have a huge potential for tourism. सारे हिंदुस्तान में बिहार एक ऐसा स्टेट है जहां पर 4 मेजर रिलीजन एक ही स्टेट के अंदर हैं, be it Buddhism, in Jainism, Sikhism, and Hinduism, of course. Then there is a Sufi sectors also in Bihar. So what we should do, पहले हम बिहारियों को दिखाएं, फिर पड़ोसियों को दिखाएं, फिर विदेशियों को दिखाएं. अभी तक बिहार में जो लोकल पॉपुलेशन है उसमें से 2% लोगों ने भी बोध गया नहीं देखा आज तक, नालंदा राजगीर नहीं देखा आज तक. तो जो हमारे मेन प्रोमिनेंट डेस्टिनेशंस हैं इन बिहार, इंक्लूडिंग सीतामढ़ी, राजगीर, नालंदा, बोध गया, यू सी दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा कैटल फेयर बिहार में होता है, एंड नोबडी नोज इट. So what we should do, we should focus on the local population first, because due to COVID, very few people are now moving for tourism. So, but in local population, we can promote them. You see, in Sitamarhi, I've been in November 2019. So it is required, the basic facilities very badly. What we should do, government should not pitch in to make the facilities. There should be facilitators. They should, like if they want to create a hotel, provide the land to the hotel owners and give them the timeline on a subsidized rate that you make the hotel and we will give you this thing and that thing, like a tourism policy. You see, Bihar is the only state where doesn't have a 5-star hotel in Bihar, not a single 5-star hotel in Bihar. And it is a huge potential. 650 million people follow Buddhism, and another 100 million people follow Neo-Buddhism. So more than 850 million people, 750 million people, you have ready-made customers who everybody wants to come at least once a day in their life to Buddha. You see, when I went first time to Japan in 1983 to promote Buddhism from Japan to India, I went one of the remotest corner, which is called Okinawa in Japan, and I did a presentation to one of the followers of the temple. I went to a temple there in a Buddhist temple. You see, they bowed before me and told me that you have came from the land of Buddha. You are like a Buddha for us. So this kind of a sentiment people have. So you know, Bihar is a extremely good place for Buddhism, for tourism. But only thing is that we must decide that what we want to do. We have been attending this. You see, I have been operating Bihar since 1983. It's almost 35-40 years now. I have attended so many meetings, so many seminars at the highest level. When Mr. Amitabh Kant was the joint secretary, we went together to the Bihar. I was along with him, with the minister, Mrs. Ambika Soni. But you see, we must focus and create something very concretely. That we must decide on 4 or 5 things and implement that. Like showing Bihar to the Biharis. The easiest way is you can do educational tours for the students who are 10th and above, at least once a year, and take them around the Bihar. Same thing we should do for the neighboring state, like border states. The Bihar is having a border with 3 Indian major states and in Nepal. So we should consider that kind of a thing. First we show Bihar to Biharis, then to Padosis, then to Videshis. This is what I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your comments. And आपने सही बोला, जितना हम टूरिज्म पोटेंशियल को तभी बढ़ेगा जब हम लोकल पॉपुलेशन को इन्वॉल्व करें, और सबसे पहले लोकल कम्युनिटी देखें, लोकल स्टेट के लोग देखें, डेस्टिनेशन को, फिर देश देखें और फिर विदेशी देखें. ये बहुत जरूरी, आपने बहुत सिग्निफिकेंट बात बताई. थैंक यू वेरी मच सर. And with this, now I'd like to invite Mr. Manveer Singh Thakur. Mr. Thakur is the General Manager at Oaks, Bodh Gaya. Over to you, Mr. Thakur.
I'm fine. Thank you very much. And warm welcome to all panelists and PHDCCI Chamber of Commerce, and who gave us the chance to explore the series of to promote the destinations in border areas. And I would like to introduce about our groups. This is Manveer Thakur. I'm the General Manager and Exi Officer of minor group of hotels. And right now we come up with the brand Oaks, which is the Australian segment. In the 2016 over here, we are the top 10 largest hotel groups company in the world. We are the Thai-based company, and this was the first FDI investment in the Bihar, and come up with a single window process and set up in 2016. And we do have the visibility. We do have the visibility more than 55 countries. And we do have the visibility in the Middle East, Africa, Indian Oceans, whole Europes, and we do have the brands. Everyone is heard about the Anantara, Avani, Oaks, Tivoli, and the Europe. We have more than 360 properties with the name of NH Group of Hotels. So Minor is all about, it's a multifunction chain with the food groups. We are the Asia largest restaurant food group, 23,000 outlets in the Asia. We are it's operational, and we are also in the lifestyle segment as well. So this was the first property we came up with, the Oaks brand in Bodh Gaya, and 4 years ago. And definitely as a Thai-based company, we came here to that connect the Bodhi segment, which is very necessary, because any Eastern tourists, they come to that Bodhi destination, want to go 3-4 places, which is very important in their itinerary. One is the Bodh Gaya, Rajgir, Nalanda, Shirvastha. So our vision is also to connect the Bodhi sector with the Varanasi, with the Rajgir, and with the Kushinagar in the coming times. And that was our visions and future plan in the agendas. As you know that in the past 2 years, the hospitality is going through very disaster era, and after COVID, that definitely we need the government support to sustain and retain our businesses, which we did in the last past years. And for that, we also need the good support from the government side in terms of better connectivity, because right now, I mean, we are in Bodh Gaya from last 4 years, and Bodh Gaya is such a destination. There is no railway facility which connect direct railway with the Gaya or direct railway with the Rajgir. So definitely, we also discuss these opportunities with the local administration as well, and would like to make the good that place which would be connected with the most Bodhi segments. So at least anyone comes, then they can direct travel from here to anywhere. Secondly, this place is an international airport, but the connectivity wise, it's very rarely 1 or 2 seasonal flights are operating, which is also a way we have to think about that, because more than 8 to 9 countries, they are visiting continuously 6 to 8 months. And many people are coming from Bhutan, China, Japan, Korea. Even we don't connect the Kathmandu from here. So we would like to request and suggest to the panel, if in the coming times, this destination would be connected with most of the international destination, so it would be easy access for the international tourists as well. And as a Bodh Gaya, if we are living here and developing our company from the past years with the experience, we also find it's not about all about the destination for the international Bodhi tourists. It's a destination for the leisure as well. It's a destination for the my segment as well. It's a destination for the Hindu religion as well, because Gaya is very nearby. And if you look at the connectivity, there is very near about it's a half of the road. Even we struggle as an international employee over here to travel Gaya to Bodh Gaya. So which is a basic setup, which is also, as our Mr. Lajpat Rai ji also tell us that we have to develop or sustain first of all the domestic the tourism. Then we can think about the international tourism. Yeah, we are coming up because India is growing. Bihar is also developing in very fast way. There's a lot more because in coming times, we always give that example to the Bihar. It's a backward places, but now if you look at the population, strength, consumptions, it's more than the other states. So definitely we should explore these that opportunities in the tourism sectors, because my segment is on the higher side. And if all the government sides, local governments also discuss about the revival of the industry, how come we can revive without any that schemes? Because this is the destination. If we explore like the Gujarat model, because liquor, there is no liquor. Here, this is the international tourism. Why not we come up with the Gujarat model to give the opportunity to the hoteliers so they can sell the liquor? So in that way, we can revive our losses, which is high losses on EBITDA side as well. So government should think about the revival policy instead of giving the rebates on VAT. Said no, this is no need, because we also want to give the taxes for the development. So these are the suggestions from the our side, and definitely looking forward to go with the good that potential setups, infrastructures, heli services from Varanasi to Bodh Gaya. Thousands of people are coming by the roadways. Some people take 10 hours, some people take 7 hours. So definitely these are the issues. People avoid traveling to Bihar or the nearby places. If we connect well, if we infra well, and if we communicate well with all the strategic destination, definitely Bihar is a good time. And would like to congratulate to the Sitamarhi destinations, and definitely it would be goes in the long way. And would like to thanks all the panelists, and especially for PHDCCI for explore me on the behalf of the minor group of hotels. Definitely, if we invest from the Thailand to here, this is the place. We didn't invest in the rest of the India, because this is one of the potential tourism sector in the world. And but we have to connect accordingly, and even the government authorities are over here in this panel, and would like to request to connect well, so more that international companies, FDIs, comes to our country, and we explore all together. And many thanks for opportunities. Jai.
Thank you, Mr. Thakur, for your deliberation. Thank you very much. Now we are connected with Mr. Sanjay Sharma. Mr. Sanjay Sharma is the founder president of Tourism Association of Bihar. So I'll request Mr. Sharma to kindly share his deliberations with the august audience. Over to you, Mr. Sharma. Please unmute.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
I am visible, ma'am.
Yes, you are audible.
You are visible. Audible, yes, sir.
सब लोगों ने काफी इम्पोर्टेंस के बारे में बताया है सीतामढ़ी। मैं मैक्सिमम वहाँ की जो प्रॉब्लम्स है दैट आई विल बी हाईलाइटेड, जिसपे काम करने की जरूरत है। और मेरा कंसर्न 3 लोगों से ज्यादा है। पीएचडी चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स का पटना ऑफिस ऑपरेट नहीं कर रहा है, दैट शुड बी ऑपरेटेड। डीडीसी साहब बैठे हुए हैं सीतामढ़ी पे, और तीसरे हमारे बिहार टूरिज्म के मिस्टर श्रीवास्तव हैं। मैं पर्सनली 2 बार होके आया हूँ विथ माय गेस्ट, विथ माय फैमिली, और उसके पहले लाजपत राय साहब से भी मैं मिला हुआ हूँ। राय साहब को थोड़ा सा मैं क्लियर कर दूं सर, आज की डेट में बिहार में 3 5 स्टार होटल हैं। लेमन ट्री इज 5 स्टार डिलक्स, कॉन्टिनेंटल खुद मेरा कंसल्टेंसी किया हुआ है, दैट इज अ 5 स्टार डिलक्स, एंड मौर्या इज 5 स्टार। ये अभी अपग्रेडेड हुए हैं। और सबसे पहले जो सीतामढ़ी की प्रॉब्लम थी बिफोर नीतीश कुमार जी की, क्योंकि ये डिस्कनेक्टेड हो जाता था 6 महीने फ्लड की वजह से, बट नीतीश जी के आने के बाद से एटलीस्ट रोड कनेक्टिविटी इतनी अच्छी हो गई है, सीतामढ़ी तक आप जा सकते हैं। टिल सीतामढ़ी रोड इज वेरी गुड। लेकिन जहाँ लैकिंग है, जहाँ बिहार डीडीसी साहब को ध्यान देना कोई मिडवे नहीं है। आप सीतामढ़ी ट्राई करें, नो प्लेस कि आप जहाँ फैमिली के साथ, बीच में एक स्पॉट आता है रूनी सैदपुर। रूनी सैदपुर का जो स्वीट है दैट इज वेरी फेमस, बट वो इतना अनहाइजीनिक कंडीशन में है कि कोई भी अच्छा आदमी वहां पे रुक के उसको नहीं खाना चाहेगा। दूसरा, सीतामढ़ी में जहां तक स्टे की बात है, आई एम नॉट अवेयर विच इज अ गुड होटल, क्योंकि कभी मैं गया था होटल सितायन होता था, उसकी हालत बहुत खराब थी। अभी बिहार टूरिज्म की प्रॉपर्टी है। हाउ इज द सर्विस, आई एम नॉट अवेयर। मिस्टर श्रीवास्तव बता सकते हैं कि क्या कंडीशन है उसकी, कैसी सर्विस है। जहां तक लिंक की बात है, डीडीसी साहब ने बताया है दरभंगा एयरपोर्ट इज ए नियरेस्ट, पटना एयरपोर्ट हमारा कैपिटल है बिहार का, वहां से भी कनेक्टिविटी है। मोस्ट ऑफ द ट्रेन इज लिंकिंग टू द सीतामढ़ी रेलवे स्टेशन, वो हमारे सीतामढ़ी इंडिया के सभी पार्ट से करीब करीब मोस्ट ट्रेन कनेक्टिविटी है। एक जो सबसे मेजर इशू है कि हमारा जो भिट्ठा मोड़ है, विच इज ए बॉर्डर फ्रॉम नेपाल, एंड अभी रामायण सर्किट की बात हो रही है। शायद डीडीसी साहब उस सड़क पे गए, वो 2 घंटे का उस सड़क को काम करने की जरूरत है, जबकि नेपाल के साइड से वो 1 घंटा लगता है। नेपाल गवर्नमेंट इज मेकिंग दैट रोड, बट हमारे भिट्ठा मोड़ से टिल इंडिया बॉर्डर तक कोई सड़क का काम नहीं हो रहा। और जनकपुर में वेरी गुड एक्टिविटीज जो रिलेटेड टू सीताजी से है, रिलेटेड टू राजा जनक से है। वहां शाम को गंगा आरती होती है। सीतामढ़ी में शाम का क्या इवनिंग है कि अगर टूरिस्ट वहां पे हैं तो एंटरटेनमेंट उनका क्या है, इन सब चीजों पे काम करने की जरूरत है। केपीएमजी को बिहार टूरिज्म ने हायर किया हुआ है, दे आर मेकिंग ए रोड मैप। मैंने 2 बार सेक्रेटरी से बोला है, प्रेजेंट सेक्रेटरी से भी बोला है, लास्ट सेक्रेटरी से भी बोला है। एक 7वां क्लास का बच्चा भी जानता है कि भाई रोड मैप में ये प्लेस सीतामढ़ी में है, बट उसका डेवलपमेंट का क्या आपका स्कोप है, कैसे उसको डेवलपमेंट करना है, कैसे मैक्सिमम टूरिस्ट आएंगे, कहाँ हाईलाइटेड करना है, इन सब चीजों पे काम करने की जरूरत है। आई थिंक दिस इज एनफ। अगर ये हो जाएगा तो दैट कैन बी ए वेरी गुड प्लेस इन रामायण सर्किट, जो कि हमारे 2 इंपॉर्टेंट एपिक हैं उससे जुड़ा हुआ है। दैट्स ऑल। इन सब बातों के साथ सबका थैंक्स, थैंक यू।
Thank you, Sharma sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now I would like to invite Mr. Rajan Sehgal, our co-chairman of Tourism Committee at PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Over to you, Sehgal sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, and a great afternoon. What a learning session from everybody. And as I'm telling, I'm in this travel industry from the last more than 35 years. But every time I attend this border tourism webinar, it's a new learning. Seetamani, which is Mr. Taranjot Singh, you have given a very good detailed information about Seetamani, which is north of Bihar. The connectivity wise, I think it's not so bad. It's just 130 kilometers from Patna and 80 kilometers from Darbhanga airport. I think the connectivity is not a problem because that's the main issue to develop a destination. But as far as Ayodhya is coming up, the Ramayana route, on the 26th of August, I was part as a panelist in a Tourism and Hospitality Education and Researcher Association of Asia. They have conducted a webinar on Ramayana route, how Colombo is going to promote the Ramayana route, because they know the Indians will be, after this pandemic, will be traveling to Sri Lanka in a big way, and everybody needs a pilgrimage tour after this pandemic. So they are already working hard, and I think Seetamani, which is very closely associated with Ramayana, I think if we can work together, why not a flight from Darbhanga or from Patna to Colombo to attract more tourists? And on behalf of PHDCCI, I'm extremely gratitude to all the eminent speakers and dignitaries for gracing the border tourism webinar with their humble presence. I'm very grateful on behalf of Mr. Prabhakarji, IAS Director Tourism, Mr. Pushkar, Shirvastha ji, you have given a very good information. Mr. Taranjot Singh, IAS Deputy Development Commissioner, Seetamani District, Government of Bihar. I think it's a very learning things which you shared with us. Mr. Rama Raju, Senior Consultant, Niti Ayog, thank you for your support always, sir. Mr. Lajpat Rai, a dear friend from the travel and tourism industry, and he is the Managing Director of Lotus Trans Travel. And I think he rightly said that he is the one who is really promoting Japanese travel traffic from Japan to India in a big way. And I remember the day when we were together in the India-Japan forum, where the ambassador and all a big delegation of travel from Japan was present, and how he spoke in Japanese language. Even the ambassador was, amazed that how an Indian is speaking so fluent Japanese. Thank you, Mr. Lajpat Rai, for your presence. Mr. Manveer Singh Thakur, the General Manager, Oaks Bodh Gaya. Mr. Sanjay Sharma, the Founder President, Tourism Association of Bihar. Also, आपने भी बड़ी अच्छी बातें बताई. अगर ये facilities, entertainment और temples जो भी है वहाँ पे उनका इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर और अच्छी जगह बन जाए. It's not the good 5-star hotel, but a decent hygiene, neat and clean hotels अगर होंगे तो we can do a lot. Then I am very grateful for the guidance of Shri Pradeep Multani ji, our Senior Vice President of PHDCCI, Mr. Satyajit Kumar Singh, Chair Bihar Chapter PHDCCI, Mr. Anil Parashar, our Chairman Tourism Committee, and PHDCCI Tourism Committee team led by Dr. Jitendra Singh and Sulagna Ghosh for your hard work. And on behalf of PHDCCI, we very grateful to Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, for partnered with us during this border tourism and giving us guidance from time to time. And with their support, I think we'll make border tourism very popular and result oriented in the coming future. And as we believe in continuity, our next webinar will be on the 24th of September on border tourism, and the focus state will be Manipur. Till then, thank you very much. Stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.